Hello everyone, welcome to the next video, which is not a training video this time. This is more about the tech life I have had in software industry. Some of you asked me about some questions and I thought, why not let's create a video on this and let's have everyone know things about it and not limited to only some of us. So here I am talking about my technological life. I have been working in software industry for more than 15 years now, and I am not an evangelist or a popular author or someone who goes to different conferences, but I think I may have earned a little name in this industry. And this has not been a journey which was so easy for me. It had taken lots of years. I have had my ups and downs, and this is what I'm going to share it with you today. So, where did it all start? Well, coming from India, we all have pressure of being an engineer or a cricketer or a doctor, and probably some of us want to be movie star as well. And I am from a family wherein it was valued to be an engineer, and I also ended up being an engineer, an electronics engineer. This was not by choice, but I also did not resist it. I was okay to pursue my career in engineering. I would have liked to be a teacher, but engineering was also not a bad option. So that was a sort of okay decision, and I got along with it. But then the real problems started in the college because at least the part of the country I come from, the engineering is in English, and I think this is same in whole of India. But then that's not my primary language, and like 20 years ago when I went to college, it was a shock because everyone was talking in English. All lessons or lectures were in English. All books were in English. It's not that I did not know English at all, but I was not used to being surrounded with English 24/7, and that was a nightmare to begin with. So engineering is 4 years activity, college activity, and my first year was spent in trying to understand what a professor would say. Reading a book and talking to someone face to face or listening to someone face to face are two different things. Reading a book you can read at your own pace, but it's difficult and sort of embarrassing if you have to ask professor to repeat again and again. And this is when I knew that I had to spend more time on polishing my English, spend more time on learning how to comprehend fast. What I started doing was watching more and more English TV. I was always fond of TV, and TV has its advantages like learning a language, and that helped me to some extent. And then, well, 4 years passed quite quickly, and we have a tradition of having campus interviews from various IT companies in India, and I suppose this is still true. The same happened with me as well. However, I did not make it to any of the company during the campus interview. There were Infosys, there was Satyam. I think this company does not exist anymore, and there were lots of other companies. In case of Infosys, it was told that if you clear the written exam, the face-to-face technical interview is going to be very easy. I cleared the written exam, but I failed in face-to-face interview. That that was a big embarrassment because I think I was the only one in the entire college who did not make it during face-to-face interview. But I don't regret it because I found that it was sort of blessing in disguise. Infosys is a service-based company, and probably being there, I would have spent whole of my career at Infosys, and this would have hindered me from doing and achieving what I am today. So I don't see this as a setback because not having gone through Infosys gave me or opened other opportunities for me. It's just that I did not have a job just after having completed degree. So then what happened to me? So after completing degree for 1 year, I tried for CAT, which did not work as well. This was not my cup of tea to get into management, and I'm still not in management despite having spent so many years in this industry. And then I decided to look for a job. Then I moved to Pune, and then I went to Bangalore for some time. And I got a job in Bangalore, which was in a service industry company. It was okay to begin with. I was absolutely new, fresher, did not know anything. And this was also by chance that I got into software testing. But man, I loved it so much. Breaking things are so much more fun than, I don't know, any other job would have been really, really boring for me. I started with manual testing, writing test cases, like all of us probably would have started, and executing them. But at some point of time, it became a bit of monotonous, and this is when I started to, jump into other areas of software testing. But before going to there, I must also say that there is lots of not the right thing which go in Indian service industry. Not all companies are same, but many of the companies do not follow good practices or do not justify the kind of work they take from their employees and the return the employees receive. And one of the biggest thing I found was, the US visa. You would be asked that if you do well, then you would be sent to US on B1 visa, which is not actually work visa, but anyways, many of the companies follow this paradigm. They send employees on B1 visa to US, work for 3 months, extend it for 3 more months, come back, and then sort of show off that we send someone to US, which is so demeaning. That going to a country on an illegal visa and then showing it off that someone was sent there because our company is doing a great thing is illogical, is incomprehensible, and it's demeaning. I ended up writing an entire blog for this in 2012. I will link it to description of this video. And then what happened? Well, I realized that service industry was not for me, even though I worked in one company for more than 4.5 years, almost 5 years. And then I decided to move to a product-based company. And I found out that product-based companies have many advantages in comparison to the service-based companies. First of all, product-based companies have decision power. They can decide when they want to release something. If they don't find something appropriate, they would not release it. But service industry, you don't have a choice. You have client has their requirements. You have to fulfill them. You have to meet the deadline. You have to work late hours. You have to work midnight. You have to work on weekend. You have to work on New Year night. There is no end. It doesn't mean that all service companies are bad. I'm sure that there are good service industry companies too. But most of the service industry companies are sweatshop, unfortunately. And it also doesn't mean that all of the product companies are great. There are terrible product companies as well. But in the product companies, you may have more choices than in a service company. And this is what I liked in terms of my career when I moved from service company to a product company, because I had more choice. I had more reasons to work on something because I wanted to work on, and not because my client from a service company wanted me to do something and I had to do this. So my advice to you in this case would be that don't be afraid to take your chances, but it doesn't mean that you should take your chances abruptly. If you don't like your job, then you should not just quit it. You should find out what you like, what you want to do. You should try to learn something which makes you happy. And then you should try to pursue that job, which is something you would like to do. So it doesn't mean that if you don't like a job you are in right now, you just leave it. No, don't do that. That would be disastrous for your career, maybe monetary reasons as well. So, what I would suggest in this case is to learn new things, be in your current job, and then when you have gained enough experience, then try to jump the ship so that you don't have any sort of sudden, abrupt break in your career, which may not be the right thing to do. But at the same time, don't be afraid to take your chances as well. And then I also learned lots of things about the sort of fights which was going on between open source and the commercial market which we have. I worked on manual testing, and then I moved on to learning automation. That was quite interesting. And this is when I came across Selenium and also QTP, which was known as WinRunner, if I recall it right, those days. And later on its name was changed to QTP, and it's a HP product and has very jumbo articles and presentations on how QTP can do everything. And I was like, who are these companies fooling around? Like, don't have to write code and you can get automation done. If you have worked on automated testing, you cannot get around automation not writing code. You have to learn to write code. You have to learn to write maintainable code, and record and replay kind of things do not just work. And commercial tools are, they bring in their own proprietary language, and you have to learn one more thing which your development team does not know. And it does not really add value at the end, some value which you could derive if whole of your team follows one language. Because let's say your development team follows the C sharp, and if you're writing test in some proprietary language written by a tool vendor, then you would never be able to leverage the capabilities your development team have. And development team, they are working on these languages for years, and they have really really good experience. And if we cannot learn from them, then this is the failure for the entire team. And this is when I moved more towards the open source tool, got involved with Selenium. There was an org called Selenium Headquarter long long ago. They were looking for someone to write documentation. Couple of us joined in there. I was one of the co-author. Selenium has come really far away since then. When I was working on Selenium, when I started working on Selenium, it was Selenium 1, and then now WebDriver version 4 is about to get out. Selenium headquarter does not exist. But what I'm trying to tell you is that, you know, do not just follow the sheep herd because you found it. Try to find out what may work better for you. If you see that open source tools are better, then get involved, use them, support them. There are many ways to support open source tools. You can write documentation for them, you can fix a bug, you can even donate money if if you have the if you have the capacity. So support them in whatever way you can, because open source tools are doing something which has prevented us from, or you know kind of hindrances which have been there by commercial tool vendors. And these are the hindrances which are being overcome by open source tool, and they need our support, and we should support them in whatever way we can. Now, what is another good thing I did was I started blogging. And you might know my blog, seleniumtest.com. And whatever little I could learn, I would post in there, I would share with others. Different channels, people started joining in, there were conversations happening. I changed my blog many times. Now it has a different look. I hope you like it. Um, and this is very satisfying for me because, as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to be a teacher. And sort of this sort of activity of blogging gives me that feeling that I'm teaching something, which which sort of brings me close to the dream I had. And the next best thing was, of course, creating video tutorial, which I post on my YouTube channel. And I don't have millions of followers, and probably I would not reach millions of followers. I work in very specific niche area of IT industry, which is software testing. But this gives me satisfaction that whatever I have learned, I can share with others, and probably it may make their job little easier, maybe little more efficient. And there cannot be higher level of satisfaction than that for me. So what I'm trying to convey to you is that when you learn something, if you keep it to yourself, this is not going to help others. And as a community, if we do not share our knowledge with each other, then the knowledge is probably going to die with ourselves. So whenever we learn something new, whenever we see an opportunity to share it with others, please do not shy away. Blogging is very easy. There are free blogging platforms available. You don't have to spend a single rupee or single dollar or single euro, whichever country you are in. You just need like 10 minutes of time in a week or in a month to jot down something new which you have learned and share with others. I have had times when I did not blog anything for 6 months, and then there have been days I would blog every week. So you do not know at what pace you might end up sharing knowledge. So never shy away from creating your own blog. And yes, of course, the training videos or the blog tutorials which are right, they are not the best ones. I know that. I know them for sure because I have read many other blogs, I have seen many other videos, I have worked with many other tools, and I know that there is no one source of information which is paramount, which is the truth. So my videos are also not the truth. You might find things which I explain are not right. You might find some other sources which are more useful, more easy to understand, or are better. So, whenever you come across some sort of learning, take it with a pinch of salt, and you may find something better, and you might be surprised. What else? Yeah, I just want to say thank you, and it has been a nice journey being with all of you virtually for so many years, and I hope this continues in future too. I wish you all a good day and stay safe. Bye bye.